What's going on social media? And today we're at it again with how to live below your means. Now, I got 8 steps for you to learn how to live below your means, and this is from a millionaire standpoint. I did this for years, and I'm just trying to help you get in a better situation so you can become a millionaire. And one of the ways for you to become a millionaire is you had to live below your means.
Naval Ravikant famously said, people that live beyond their means do not experience peace. Then he says, people that live below their means will experience a level of peace that those above their means will never experience.
And I kept getting asked, how do you do it? How do you do it? Well, here's the question I have to ask you. Are you struggling to make ends meet? Are you trying to work towards a major financial goal, like buying a house, sending your kids to college, but you're falling short? Well, here's the thing. With my expertise or with my knowledge, I can testify of the power of living below your means to take control of your finance. And all you have to do are these 8 following steps. You don't have to do every single one of these steps, but it will help if you did.
Think living rich makes you rich? Think again. Millionaires live below their means. They don't splurge, they spend far less than they earn, year after year. Consistency, not luck, builds real wealth. So next time you're about to buy something, ask yourself, do I really need this?
Now, you also can do things like earn passive income, but let's talk about living below your means and what you currently make. So, let's get into this video. Number 1 or step 1 is understand the basic of living below your means is. So before you implement any action changes to live below your means, you must understand what and why.
What are some warning signs that you may be living beyond your means? 1, you're living paycheck to paycheck. Part of being fiscally responsible is having the ability to set money aside for emergencies. If you can't do that, or your money barely lasts you to the next paycheck, it might be a sign. 2, you regularly buy items on credit. Listen, one of the quickest ways to assess if you're living beyond your means is if you're living a life on credit.
What does it mean to live below your means, Intel? Why do you need to live below your means? Now, for many people, living below your means is a way to survive, especially when rising inflation and higher cost of living. For others, living below their means open doors for new opportunities, like saving for a home down payment or taking a dream vacation. And in my instant, I like the idea of living below my means so that I can afford to retire and invest the extra money. Now, everyone has a different budget limit. Everyone has a different story. So living below your means could be saying living below $60,000 a year, living below $200,000 a year. Because did you know that a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck? It's something about 50%. And I'll put the stats on the green screen so that you can see it. Now, step 2 is know your finance. After you understand why you're doing this, you're sick and tired of being broke. You're sick and tired of dealing with not being able to afford anything. You want to have some savings. You have to have a good reason why. Once you find out your why, it's time to learn about your finance.
Getting started is the most important thing you can do to improve your finances. It's important for me to tell you this because a lot of people believe they need to become an expert.
And this is where you need to examine your financial situation. How much do you make hourly? How much do you make on salary? What is deposited into your bank account and how often? Living below your means requires you to use your net income, which is your gross income minus payroll deduction, taxes, and benefits. So how much money do you take home? Some people, they don't take home as much. They can make $100,000, $200,000, but guess what? They have child support. Yeah, I feel bad for them, but they put themselves in that situation. So you need to know how much money you are bringing in. That's plain and simple. Write that down. Look at your bank accounts. Look at your paychecks. Figure out how much you're bringing in, because that's the first thing you need to do after you understand why. So after you find out how much money you bring in, what else do you need to do? Step 3 is track your spending. Once you know how much money you have come in, it's time to track your spending. Now, I tell you, create a spreadsheet or invest in a budgeting app that shows you where your money is going or whether your spending habit aligns with your current living condition.
Want to stay on top of your finances? Here's how to track your spending and stick to your budget. Step 1. Use a budgeting app. Apps like Mint, YNAB, or Every Dollar automatically track your spending and categorize it for you. Step 2. Set spending limits. Decide how much you want to spend in categories like groceries, entertainment, and dining out, then stick to those limits. Step 3. Review weekly. Check in every week to see where your money's going and adjust if needed.
And this is what I mean by that. This is where you need to understand how much money you really are spending each month. Maybe it's $900 a month you're spending on a truck payment. Maybe you have excess spending somewhere. And this is where you need to understand. Because did you know that the average American family in America spends about $18,000? That's crazy, isn't it? $18,000 a year. Some people don't even make $60,000, $70,000 a year. And if the average person spends $18,000, guess what? You're not going to have but $20,000 to live off of, $40,000, depending on what bills, what other things you have off. And this is where you need to get a better understanding. Now, 4, and this is a very big one, is you need to prioritize your 3 big expenses. And what are your 3 big expenses? It's housing, transportation, and food. So you might have to cut out your $5 coffee trip each week. It won't have a big impact as reducing your rent by $300, but these are things you have to figure out. You've prioritized your big 3. Where can you cut corners? Lowering your 3 big expenses will have a more profound effect than budgeting on your budget and helping you live below your means. At the end of the day, think about this. Where is your biggest expenses? If you can cut out of your car expense, lower your rent, lower your mortgage by refinance if you have to. Couponing. These are the things you have to do to understand how to save money. And if you can do that, you're going to go very far because you now are on the right path. And this is where it'll help you. Because number 5 is cut out unnecessary expenses. So even if you lower your 3 big expenses, that doesn't mean a small expense doesn't matter. And I will throw the number on the screen. If you spend $50 a week from the age of 30 and $50, and I'll do the math on screen so you can see it all and understand it, but we're going to put it in this calculator and show you the investment. So $50 a week equals about $200 a month, and it equals to from age 30 to age of 67 in a investment with a 10% return, and that's the number you're getting. So that coffee could be costing you your retirement. Yes, you can enjoy coffee, you can do whatever you want, but this is what I mean. Little expenses will cost you big in the long run. And once you understand where you can cut expenses, what is the very next step? It's number 6 is build your emergency fund. Now, what emergency fund should you have and what level? I recommend 3 to 6 months, but I have a family and it's kind of risky to do the Dave Ramsey method. Now, there's nothing wrong with it because his method is get $1,000, throw everything else to your bills, your debt, so you can get out of debt faster. Totally understand. But I have a family to worry about. I have businesses, so me having $1,000 is not enough. So it's all depending on your situation. Now, what method should you do? The snowball method or the avalanche method where it tells you have 3 to 6 months? That depends on your situation and what's best for you. Now, I have about 3 months of emergency fund put away because I have a bunch of different incomes. Everyone's different, and this is where you have to decide. And number 7 either while building your emergency fund or after reaching your reserve number, you need to start investing any extra money. So, number 7 is investing extra money. Investing just $25 or $50 a week can have huge impact on your ability to retire or even retire early. It does not sound good to be able to retire early. And this is where you have to figure out what is best for you. So if it's best for you to retire early and because you're having a bad health, at least you have the situation where you can retire early. Some people can't. So use your extra income you find or you save to invest. Now, if that means picking up an extra job so you can get ahead and invest, that's what you have to do. Now, let's go with number 8 is take advantage of value spending. Yes, finally, your last step is once you meet all the other financial goals, you can use any remaining funds for what you want. It's important to spend on what wants every so often to have a balanced life. However, living below your means generally doesn't free up thousands of dollars for want spending, but pairing value spending with your wants, you'll end up maximizing every dollar. So, yes, these are the 8 steps. So, here's the thing I gotta tell you. Do you have to do all these 8 steps? No. But if you do these 8 steps, this will help you live below your means. And you can use the extra money to invest. This doesn't mean you have to pick up extra job. This doesn't mean you have to do anything else. But living below your means will help you get on track so you stop living paycheck to paycheck and be able to save for the long-term goals. Like and subscribe to my video, and that's all I got for you.